Hello everyone, it's Blue Steel 42 here, and before we start Thomas and Timothy's Frosty's Winter Wonderland Part 2, I was wondering if I may take a quick second of your time just to say this. I'm so sorry that this part was on a delay, but there were three main reasons why Part 2 of Frosty's Winter Wonderland was on a delay this year. The first reason why is because right when the Christmas holidays begun, I got very, very sick. I had a massive fever, and every time I would blink, my eyes were sore. Every time I'd look, my eyes would also be sore then. My head was burning up quite badly, and my throat was sore. And not to mention, every time I would try and walk or even act for the characters, I felt very tired, as if I was about to collapse. The second reason why I couldn't upload was because right when I got better, my family and I went to Calgary in Alberta, which is in Canada, and that is where my grandma and grandpa were living. We were also going there to ski at a resort called Lake Louise. And it was a wonderful trip, and I was so glad to reunite with my grandma and grandpa. It has been 10 years since I had last seen them. But that was the other reason why Part 2 was on a delay, because I was gone for a whole week, so I couldn't film then. And the third and final reason why I couldn't film Part 2 at the time was because my school exams started right when January rolled in. And I had to put my studies ahead of my filming just because I had to make sure I had a good education. Not to mention, one of my exams was for English, and my English class was especially important because not only did I have to study that class to graduate, but it was also the one class that I had to pass and able to get accepted into a good college. And those are the three reasons why I couldn't upload then, and I want to say I am very, very sorry I wasn't able to. Especially because I promised how my Christmas specials wouldn't be delayed anymore, but boy was I dead wrong. And the last thing I'd like to say is I'd like to quickly give a huge shout out to two really good friends of mine, as well as a few students from my school. First, I'd like to say a big thank you to the voice actors of the special, Tyler the Tank Engine and Super Lego Matt 240. The reason why is because Tyler the Tank Engine himself was the voice of both James the Red Engine and Frosty the Snowman, and it still means the world to me of how much support he's shown to my channel and myself. I'd also like to say thanks to Super Lego Matt 240 because not only has he been now a real good friend to me, but he's also been a really good voice actor for the voice of Percy the Small Green Engine, and I greatly appreciate his support as well. It means a lot, especially because he volunteered to be the voice of Percy, which is very meaningful to me. And lastly, I would like to give a huge thank you to some of the students from my school, my high school, as they were in the 4th grade and they volunteered to be voice actors and voice actresses for the children. And it means a lot because not only were they willing to be a part of the special, but it also means the world to me of how much support they had shown towards my creativity, and they encouraged me to make more. And that fills me up with joy, as it made me feel as if I truly mattered in this world, and I greatly appreciate that. And of course, I'd like to thank you all for being very patient and support. I made it past 800 subscribers this year, and it makes me very, very happy, honestly. The support you all have shown me, it makes me feel as if I truly matter in this world, and I probably wouldn't be where I am now without your support. Even if it is about films about Thomas the Tank Engine and his friends, it still means a lot. Thank you all for your support, and I hope you enjoy Part 2 of Thomas and Timothy, Frosty's Winter Wonderland.
It was not as difficult this time, as all the engines and the children managed to find a new area for the wedding. With some extra snow that was brought by Henry and Edward, the children were able to build the stage. Santa Claus and Sir Topham Hatt were also able to make the wedding. Duck was able to bring them after taking Thomas's passengers and bringing the boy home, and he managed to find a spot within the crowd. Both Frosty and Crystal were very excited. The children who stood by were also excited. They couldn't wait to witness the love between their beloved snowman and their new friend.
Husband and wife.
Emily, I don't believe we will be able to find one to help us with Frosty's wedding.
Why not?
Well, the person only pronounces husband and wife to those who are human. Frosty and Crystal are snow characters, not humans.
I'm afraid James is right, Emily. It just wouldn't be legal to do so. The engine started to feel worried once again. But that was until Santa Claus had an idea.
Oh, just watch now.
And just as Santa cast the same spell for Frosty last year, there appeared a snow priest right in front of the children. Wow! That's cool! Well, I guess all he needs is the good book.
Here it is. Where and how did you get that? My father pronounces husband and wives all the time. I just had to take it from his office when he wasn't looking.
Okay. And so the boy put the book in the priest's hand, and then...
Happy birthday!
Everything was perfect. Crystal and Frosty stared at each other, eye to eye. The priest was just about to pronounce them husband and wife, as Santa, Sir Topham, the children, and the engines stood by.
I now pronounce you snowman and wife. Two hearts are thrilling in spite of the chill in the weather.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland.
On away is the bluebird, here to stay is the new bird. He sings a love song as we go along.
Walking in a winter wonderland.
In the meadow we can build a snowman and pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? They'll say, no, man. But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on,
We'll conspire
as we dream,
by the fire to face unafraid the plans that we made. Walking in a winter wonderland.
The next morning had arrived, and Santa with his reindeer and with the priest waited patiently for both Frosty and Crystal. And so were the other engines. But they weren't exactly happy. And neither were the children, only because today was the day where Frosty, Crystal, and the priest had to go back to the North Pole. Just then, Thomas puffed up to Knapford Station with Frosty and Crystal. And Thomas, discouraged of saying goodbye, sadly pulled up to the platform to let Frosty and Crystal out. Thomas always found it hard to say goodbye. Even the other engines found it hard to say goodbye, as it was never easy saying goodbye to someone you care about, especially knowing that it would be another year until they would get to see Frosty and Crystal again. Therefore, the engines and the children already knew that it would be quite some time until they saw their beloved friends again. Just then, the children began to whimper and whine.
Oh, Frosty, do you and Crystal have to go? We don't want you to leave. We love you both.
We're sorry, everyone, but we have to go. We'd be a puddle of slush if we stayed for too long.
Yes, but we're worried if you two won't come back. He's not wrong, because it has been so long since we last seen you, Frosty.
Now, don't you be saying that, because you know what I said last time. I'll be back again someday. And besides, I was only gone for 1 year. And look at me now. I'm back to see you after being lonely for so long.
But you won't forget about us now that you have Crystal, will you?
Of course not. Crystal and I will never hesitate to come back to see you. We both love you all, and we promise we will be back again someday to have more winter fun.
When hearing this, the children enlightened with excitement and wished Frosty, Crystal, and the priest the best. And even the engines were enlightened with happiness, as each engine whistled and hooted their cheerful goodbyes. But just as Crystal and the priest were about to get in, Frosty had one more thing to say.
Also, Thomas, Percy, and Timothy, thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for welcoming me back to Sodor. And most importantly, thank you for helping me build Crystal. I wouldn't be anywhere near happy without your help.
You are very welcome, Frosty. You are very welcome. And so, all three snow characters got into Santa's sleigh, and the reindeer pulled them back to the North Pole. And I would just like to say to you, yes, you, right now, thank you for listening to our story. Because as of now, we have come to the end of our beloved story, as it is time for all of us to go home. Just like Frosty.